What if your worst memory, the one that shaped who you are today, what never actually happened the way you think? Meet Mira. Everyone calls her careful, the one who never takes risks, the friend who stays in her lane. But at 2 a.m., when the self doubt creeps in, Mira stares at the ceiling, wondering, what if the thing I'm most ashamed of is actually a story my brain created? Mira's phone buzzes with another message. Come to the party. You're so responsible. You need to loosen up. Live a little, Mira. She types the same answer as always. Thanks, but I'm not really a party person. In her mind, it makes perfect sense. Why would someone like her risk ruining other people's good time? Because she remembers exactly what happens when she tries to be normal. Age 10, her dad's biggest presentation ever. Important clients, big conference room. Mira standing quietly in the corner holding a glass of orange juice. She remembers her shoe catching on the carpet, the glass slipping, the juice flying, spilling all over his slides. His notes, his reputation. She remembers the room going silent, the projector flickering, her dad's face freezing, then twisting into something she'd never seen before. That night, in her memory, he looks at her and says, "You always mess things up. Maybe next time, just stay home." From that day on, Mira builds her whole identity around one belief: I ruin good things. So she stops putting herself forward. No school plays, no class presentations, no big risks. At family dinners, whenever someone talks about promotions, public speaking, big opportunities, her chest tightens because she knows what happens when she steps into the spotlight. One Sunday afternoon, Mira's older cousin, Arish, comes over. They're flipping through old photo albums, laughing at bad haircuts and awkward phases when an uncle jokes, "Remember when Mira destroyed your dad's big presentation?" The table erupts in laughter. Mira forces a smile, staring at her plate, but Arish frowns. "Wait, what presentation?" "The orange juice one," someone says. "You know, at his office?" Arish shakes his head. "That didn't happen at the office." The room goes quiet. "I was there," he says. "The juice spilled at home, on the dining table. Your dad laughed and said, 'Relax, it's just juice.'" Mira's heart starts racing. "That's not right," she says. "I remember the big room, the projector, everyone staring at me." Arish pulls out his phone, scrolls through old photos. In one picture, her dad is presenting in a conference room. No kids anywhere. In another, there's the dining table at home. Orange juice spilled, her dad mid-laugh, hand on her shoulder. Two different days, two different scenes. But in Mira's mind, they've been fused into one for almost 15 years. A week later, Mira sits across from Dr. Rao, hands wrapped around a warm mug. So this memory that felt so clear was actually two separate events that my brain glued together? Dr. Rao nods gently. "What you're describing is called reconstructive memory." "I don't get it," Mira says. "I can see it. I can feel it. The embarrassment, the shame. It's like a movie in my head." "That's exactly the problem," Dr. Rao replies. "Your brain doesn't store memories like a camera. It stores fragments, pieces, the feeling of the room, your dad's tone of voice, the color of the juice, the weight of your shame. And every time you remember it, your brain has to rebuild the scene from those pieces." Mira frowns. "So my brain rewrote it?" "Not on purpose," Dr. Rao says. "But think about this. Every time you felt small, every time you made a mistake, every time you told yourself, 'I ruin everything,' your brain went back to that memory and colored it a little darker, a little more dramatic, a little more painful. Why? Because your brain loves stories that feel consistent. If you believe you're the kind of person who ruins good things, your brain will keep editing the past until it matches that belief." Mira stares at the floor. So this moment I've hated myself for my entire life might not be real? "It's real to your nervous system," Dr. Rao says softly. "But it may not be accurate to what actually happened. And that means something important. If your brain could edit your past once, it can edit it again. This time in a way that sets you free." Here's what Mira didn't know, and what most of us don't know. Every time you remember something, your brain doesn't just open a file. It opens it, and then saves a new version. Scientists call this memory reconsolidation. Your current mood, your current beliefs, your current level of shame or confidence, all of it seeps into the memory every time you revisit it. Feel unlovable today? Suddenly, past moments of rejection become sharper, clearer, heavier. Feel confident today? The same events feel smaller, less important, almost funny. And false memories? They're not rare glitches. Research by psychologists like Elizabeth Loftus has shown that people can develop detailed emotional memories of things that never happened, simply because of suggestions, leading questions, or repeated storytelling. And here's the scariest part. The more often you replay a story about how you always mess up, always get left, always fail, the more your brain edits your past to prove you right. Not because it hates you, but because it craves a story that feels consistent. Months later, Mira's friend Lena calls. "I'm applying for a leadership role," Lena says. "They need someone to pitch a new project. Will you co-present with me?" The old Mira would shut down instantly. "I can't. I ruin things." This time, she catches the thought. She sees a flash of orange juice in her mind. And then the two photos. Office, dining table, two realities. Only one was true. She takes a slow breath. "I'm scared," she says, "but I want to try." On the day of the presentation, her hands are shaking. Her brain whispers, "Remember what happened last time?" And for the first time, she answers back, "Last time, I was a child, and my memory was wrong." She presents anyway. Her voice trembles at first, then steadies. It's not perfect. She stumbles on a word. Her slide glitches for a second, but no one gasps. No one stares. No one says, "You always mess things up." Afterwards, Lena squeezes her hand. "You were great. I'm proud of you." That night, Mira writes in her journal, "Maybe I'm not the girl who ruins everything. Maybe I'm the woman who was brave enough to question her own story." So here's the truth. Your brain is not a camera. It's a storyteller. And sometimes it tells painful stories so many times that you start to confuse them with facts. The memory that proves you're unlovable, too much, a failure, might be less about what happened and more about how you felt when it happened. You are not bound to the first draft your brain wrote about you. You're allowed to update the story. You're allowed to say, "Maybe I remember this wrong. Maybe I was a child. Maybe I was scared. Maybe I deserved more kindness than I got." Mira's story is one of many. Because we all live inside stories our brain tells about us. Some of us are trapped in old memories. Others are trapped in old roles. The strong one, the quiet one, the problem one. Next time, we'll meet someone who wasn't haunted by a memory, but by a role they never chose. And what happened when they finally refused to play that part. If you want to hear that story, subscribe. Because at Story Minds, stories meet the human mind. And your story? It matters too.